Good evening. Today is Thursday, December the 3rd. Today in pre-calculus, we looked at some trigonometric identities and how you use these identities to find different values for your sine, cosine, and so forth. So I'll go ahead and share my screen here and show you a couple of problems that we worked on. The first thing we did, if I look at a problem here, like if I say, okay, the secant of an angle X is equal to 8, and I can say the tangent of X is equal to 3 square root of 7, which is going to be 7 to the 1/2 power, 0.5 power. So that's 3 square root of 7. And then I want to find the cosecant of X. So, if we remember, we have a relationship between tangent and secant that says, if I come down here, it says the tangent squared of X plus 1 is equal to the secant square of X. So if I do that and I take what I've got up here, so 3 square root of 7, so if I square that, I get 9 times 7, which is 63, plus 1 equals the cosecant, which is 8 squared, which is 64, right? So that's consistent. That tells me that that works. Now, but I've got to find a relationship with the cosecant. So if I do the tangent, so let's go back here now, because the relationship that exists with the cotangent and the cosecant is the reciprocal. So the cotangent squared of X plus 1 equals the cosecant squared of X. So now, if you remember, the cotangent is the reciprocal of the tangent. So if the tangent is 3 square root of 7, then the cotangent is 1 over 3 square root of 7. So that would be 1 divided by 3 square root of 7, which is 9 times 7, which is 63. And I add to that, I plus 1, and that equals cosecant squared. So if I do my cosecant squared X here, then what I can do is I can go back now. So 1/63 plus 1 is 63 63rds. So I will have 64 divided by 63 equals cosecant squared X. So if I take the square root of both sides, then I get 8 divided by 9. The square root of 63 is 3 square root of 7. Okay, so where'd I go here? I went 3, 8 divided by 3, get my 7. I think I've exceeded mine. Okay, here, let's do this. All right, we're going to undo this. All right, I didn't mean to go back that far. But anyway, okay, so we have the cotangent is 1 over, so that was 1 over 63. So we had 64 4 divided by 63 equals cosecant squared x. Okay, now we'll just do this. All right, so I start another one now. So if I take the square root here so I can get the cosecant squared, I will have 8 on top divided by parentheses. The square root of 63, this is 9 times 7, so the square root of square root of 9 is 3. And then I have the square root of 7, so that's raised to the 1/2 power. And then, so that is equal to the cosecant of x. So what you're doing there, so you're using the, this formula here is one of the Pythagorean identities, starting with sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. So that's a special form, and you can work through that. But the whole point here, if you'll notice, we're using the trigonometric identities, which are listed in section 5.1 in your textbook, and we're finding some things. Now, it tells us here, okay, we've got the cosecant, all right? Now, so another type of problem, if we look at it, so if we go ahead, come down here again, is we have something like, we want to find the sine of x and the cosine of x given the cotangent of x equals 8 and the cosecant of x is less than 0. So now if we go back once again, we can go back to the same identity that we just used. So we can say that the cotangent squared x plus 1 equals the cosecant squared of x, okay? Now, so what I can see here, I've got the cotangent of x is 8. So if I take and square that, so that would be 64. So I have 64 plus 1 equals the cosecant squared of x. So that means the cosecant, I didn't put the equal sign in, equals, okay, so if I take the square root of both sides now, this is 65, so the square root of 65, so 65 to the 1/2 power is equal to the cosecant of x. Now, notice it says the cosecant is less than 0, so I would put a minus in front of this. So that means minus the square root of 65 is the cosecant of x. So once again, you're using the Pythagorean identity here. Now, if you look at this, take a look at the homework problems that you have now. We've covered lesson 1 and 2 in the syllabus for chapter 5. So if you look at your homework, try your homework problems, and if you have a question, then send me an email and I'll get back to you with that. So at this point, I will stop sharing, and I will see you again tomorrow and let you know what we did for tomorrow's lesson. So hope you're feeling better, and I'll see you tomorrow.